Okay. Hello, everyone. I see people joining. Perfect. Um, okay, that's great. Okay. So I hope you can all hear me well. While we are waiting for people to join, we have quite a few people today. Please use the chat to introduce yourself, and this way I will also understand that you can hear me well. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Kara. Okay, perfect. So can you introduce yourself and name what kind of work, what is your occupation? When are you planning to return to work? And you might even know each other. Oh, hi, Katie. Can you please keep your videos off and your sound on mute? I'm recording the session and we'll be sharing it with people. So just that you're all okay with that. Okay, and please start sharing. So your name, your occupation, when are you planning to return to work, so that I have an idea of what to cover. And if you have any questions already that you want to be covered, put them in the chat and I will try to cover them all. Hi, Emma. Due to return to work in 7th of June, head office of a group of schools, right? Okay. It might be a good time to return. Schools are breaking up for schools, so at least you'll have some time to sort it out. Hi, I'm Jane. I'm an events director and I returned last week. Oh, how was it going, Jane? You can share some tips with us of just how it feels to be back. I hear some people saying that actually, oh, not great. Well, if you have any like questions or looking back in hindsight, if you have any recommendations, I would love to hear them. I hear people saying that actually it's good now to go back while we're still on remote working. At least you it's kind of a soft settling in when you're still at home. Hi everyone. Hi Anya. I can see and hear you too. Perfect. Oh, I think I missed someone. Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm Rita. I'm a sustainability consultant and due to return to work end of March. Okay, pretty soon. It's great to have kind of different backgrounds. Hi everyone. Hi Anya. I can see and hear you too. Excellent. I'm back to work next Friday, very soon, and I'm a program manager at an education charity that runs a group of schools. Okay. Oh, we have a couple of schools here then. Sorry, I'm trying to connect the audio. Melinda, yes, please let me know if you have any problems with that. Cara, due to return to work end of March, and I'm a digital marketing executive. Okay, cool. Rebecca, I'm a chartered surveyor and due to return to work in September. Sabrina, September. I love when people actually prepare for this in advance because actually we will talk later and you will see why it makes sense to start thinking about it in advance. And in the UK, I don't know obviously how much you took of maternity leave. In the UK, we're kind of lucky in comparison with some countries to have up to 14 months of maternity leave, and it feels like, oh, I will think about it when I almost get there. But it's good to start thinking about it at least like 4 months before you return to work. So well done, ladies, for joining in early. But it's never too late to learn. And to be honest, everything I share today, I hope I knew that when I was returning to work, because I will be almost telling you all the things like the way I did it, not to do them that way. But this is how we learn sometimes, don't we? Sabrina, September. I'm lean financial controller for TV production company, due to return in July. Katie, I'm an assistant buyer. Mm, I'm not sure what that means. I'm an assistant buyer and due to return to work in August. Oh, please educate me. I might be assistant buyer. Okay. Hi, I'm Becky. Oh, Becky didn't finish. Due to return to work in June as a healthcare scientist manager in NHS. All right. Well, I really hope that the and I'm not sure how much you were affected, but that the NHS will be slowing down in that 18 months of really hard work. I am Sarah. I'm a project support officer due to return in November. I'm Becky, due to return, Becky with Becky. I'm Amy, due to return to work in April. I'm a management consultant. Melinda, I'm a housing officer returning in May, but will be working from home initially. Elani, I'm a banker returning to work in November. Excellent. Oh, well. Very well, ladies. I love this. Oh, someone else. I'm Luna, working in an internet company as customer success manager, and I'm due to go back in July. So yeah, we have quite a spread of like one lady who is already back, and some returning in spring, summer, and some in autumn. Excellent. Okay. All right. Well, we're 6 past, so we will start. If you have any questions, so I will talk for about 30 minutes. You will see I will now start sharing the slides, but you don't have to, and you will see my slides are quite minimalistic, but you don't have to write anything. After this webinar, I will share both the recording and like a 2-pager with top tips of what we discussed. So just sit back, relax. I hope you can do that, and tune in. And if you have any questions, post them in the chat. So there are quite a few people. Let's see, but I will leave 20 minutes for the Q&A at the end. At least I will try. So let me share my screen. Blah, blah, bum, bum. Oh, sorry, ladies. Oh, why I don't see this? Oh, yes, here we go. Here we go. Oh, I've been doing this so many times, and today it's like, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Excellent. I will just start presenting. Perfect. So here is me. So just to present myself. So I'm Anya. This is my vintage. Like with good wine, I hope that I'm just getting better with every year. So I am a women's coach. I love coaching working mums, and I am a mum of 2 myself. I'm a blogger, I'm a podcaster, and I'm a former lawyer. Nothing like personal experience inspires you to jump professions, but about this later. So this is just to show kind of my spread of experience. Before, I know you might be surprised by this slide, but before we jump into practical considerations for returning to work, I want to show you something that you might not have even ever thought of. Return to work is supposed to be easy. And for many women, it is not. And it becomes quite an emotional time in our lives. And whether it's pandemic, whether it's kind of separating with our kids, settling in childcare, whether there are some kind of personal things with your line manager, with your team, whatever, it actually becomes quite an emotional time. And that's why I wanted to start with this kind of emotional mindset, first of all, because you might be thinking that preparing for return to work is kind of a very logical exercise. And I don't know if you know, but we have like 2 parts of the brain, and the left part is more like the logical part, the thinking part, the like cognitive constructive kind of part, and the right part is our creative part. And some even say that during pregnancy and around pregnancy, women are becoming particularly creative, starting to, you know, all this nesting and painting walls. You had probably I don't know, whether you want to sew something or create something, paint something, sing. It becomes a very creative side of us that really wants to jump out. And there is a reason for that. And this is the neurological connections in our brain. And it just shows you that the parts, they just don't work separately one from another, but they work together. And interestingly, it is the emotional side of us that makes the decision first. And the logical side of us kind of rationalizes after our subconscious has already decided. And when you think of the most important decisions in your life, like, for example, if you are in a relationship, kind of marrying that person or being with that person or deciding to have a child with that person, then there was a very strong emotion connected to it. And just the word commitment, when you're committing to something, has a very strong emotional charge. So you can mess up your return to work if you don't prepare, like, logistically, but I bet you will feel really frustrated if you are doing something that is against your gut and against your intuition, which doesn't feel right. So before we jump into the practical things, I want to do with you one coaching exercise that I do with many of my clients. I will give you a guided visualization to help you tap into that resource, into that subconscious decision that you have already made, and to really see it, to visualize it, and to understand how you want to be upon your return to work. So we're going to do this exercise. Become comfortable. You can be seated, you can lie down, whatever it feels more comfortable, and close your eyes if you wish, if that is more relaxing for you. And just relax and listen to my voice. You don't have to write anything yet. And I will give you time to jot things down after this visualization. So relax, take a deep breath, and let's take them together. Just 3 deep breaths. And on every exhale, relax even more. And as you become more relaxed, and you might close your eyes now, you find yourself becoming more quiet and peaceful. And now imagine yourself a year from now. It will be March 2022. And notice where you are. Notice your surroundings. What is the temperature like? What are you wearing? What colors do you see? What do you hear? And now imagine your perfect day. Perfect day, almost spring. What happens in the morning? Who do you see? What do you say each other? And what happens during the day? How do you interact with the people you see? With your family? With your colleagues? With your clients? And what conversations you have? And what is your evening like? Who is with you? What is happening? And at the end of that perfect day, how do you want to feel? Really just explore the landscape of whatever has sprung into your mind. Imagine you're just before going to bed and you take just a minute to reflect on that your perfect day. How do you feel about your perfect day? Does this feeling have a temperature, a texture, or color? Where does it live physically in your body? Something could be going on in your chest area, some warmth, like a warm light, or probably in your stomach, or your fingertips might be tingling. Just tune in and feel what it's like to be in this state. Can you give it a name? If nothing comes to mind, maybe an emotion attached to it. And now blink your eyes open and take a moment to jot down some things just to lock in that experience. And I'll just give you 20 seconds to do that. And I would love you to find a structure to that vision. I hope you all managed to connect with it. And if not, you can then, or I will send the recording and you can listen to it again and try to go a little bit deeper this time and pause when you need to. But create a structure. And by structure, I mean, try to feel what you felt. Try to reconnect that with that feeling during the visualization, during the guided visualization. And this feeling is your inner wisdom. It's it's the right part speaking to you. It's that unconscious part of you that has already decided. And so when you are struggling to understand what is it actually you want, that part of you might give you some hints and answers about that. So this will be just your compass of not just returning to work, but going through this transformational, very challenging first couple of months of becoming a working mother, or if it's your not first time of becoming a mother, just adjusting again, because with every new child, it's a different story. So now that you have that vision, your objective, let's look at strategies for what you need to do from here. Let's go now, next slide. As you can see, like I'm not very wordy with my slides. According to the Office of National Statistics, 6 out of 10 parents say that they, both men and women, say that they can change their work conditions to facilitate childcare. But guess what? 56% of women, more than half, actually change their work conditions to accommodate childcare, and only 22% of fathers do. So this picture on the left is my urge to you to not to become a single parent in a couple. It just, I don't know why it happens. I don't know. I mean, in my life, I had to I need to consciously remind myself of that. And with my husband, we talk a lot and we discuss things a lot. And still, we need to do this. We call it undusting. Like once in a while, we need to sit down and actually explore whether we have anything to say to each other. Not saying and getting on with majority of tasks around home, not only childcare, is a time bomb for the couple relationship. What I also hear is that sometimes women feel that fathers or like partners, they're not interested. Well, don't just assume. Ask. There are so many societal pressures, and actually modern fathers really want to get involved and they want to help. They probably just don't know how. So help others, help you. Just have those open conversations. Another thing that comes up a lot is that women are scared to leave the baby with the partner, thinking, well, he or she doesn't know what to do with the baby. And I know you're now all mothers, you learned the ropes, but remember how you felt on the very first day with your first child, on your very first week of mothering. I was totally out of my depth, and it was a steep learning curve for all of us to learn how to be with the baby. And so other people, like your partners who never had this time with the baby, they just need time and space to learn, and they don't have to do things exactly the same way. And it's actually really good for children to experience different ways of playing or being calmed for sleep, or being told the same story in different ways. This diversity, this kind of range of experiences is really beneficial. And sometimes we just need a nudge and an information. You probably know this, but all of us sometimes just forget the best advice we give others. We forget to actually apply to ourselves. So this is my nudge to you, to review what's actually happening in your couple and have an open conversation. And in terms of your rights, I want to mention 3 things. This is not an exhaustive list, but 3 things. Both parents have access to shared parental leave, flexible working, and unpaid parental leave. And this is what actually parents don't tend not to know at all about, anything about unpaid parental leave. So while your kids are under 18, if you are a parent or have parental responsibilities, you can take, I think it's up to 1 month, a year of unpaid leave just to be with your child for no particular reason, for no other reason than parenting. And this can be a great way for you to rebalance those childcare responsibilities, take time off during summer holidays, for example. And if you're a single parent, I mean, kudos to you. My sister has been single parenting for 11 years, and she has 2 children, and one who required lots of medical attention. And this is tough. And women are not supposed to go through this alone, or even just parents if you are in a couple. I mean, we're not supposed to do this, just 2 of us. And it's really the first generation of these professionals who often live far away from their traditional supports and larger families that we're doing this like as a couple, or even more difficult if you're a single parent. So do you build your village of support? I like the word allo parents. It's all those other people who can become like parents and support you when you need it, and support your children. And the children psychologists say that children feel more secure in life when they have a range of adults around them, when they have this village. it's like they carry this sense of being supported and backed up by many people through their lives. So, and it's great for you too. And Gingerbread Men here is to remind you of the gingerbread charity that has been supporting single parent families for over 100 years. The next slide is about flexible working. And I find flexible working instrumental for working parents. It often makes part of my work-life balance conversations with clients when I work on a one-on-one with coaching clients, and um, we start with something else. We just started with how to find a work-life balance, and flexible working becomes a really useful tool. And again, it's available to both parents. It is so popular so that I even created a special program on how to prepare and negotiate flexible working, and I can talk about it later. Do not confuse flexible working with this remote working forced by the pandemic, the one that we're going to have until 21st of June. Flexible working is an official application process, and it is more than just a 4-day working week or remote working. So I put some pictures here of the examples of what flexible working can be, and you can mix and match. So for example, when I was a lawyer and I returned after my first maternity leave, I had reduced my hours to 70%. That's first. I then, so that kind of became part-time. I changed my start and finish times to reflect my the nursery hours. That was 2. I also worked from home 1 day of the week. That's 3. And what else? Can't remember. Well, this is just an example of just how to mix them up. And really make it work for you. On my next slide, I will show you some kind of flex work treasure chest, kind of top tips that I take from my, oh, here we go. The bottle of champagne here is to celebrate your successful return to work on flexible schedule. So here are some top tips about negotiating flexible working that I took from my personal experience and working with other women. This is not a personal favor. No one is doing you a favor when you're going back on flexible working. This is a business negotiation of how you're prepared to work for probably kind of a different salary if you are reducing your work hours. The best way to start flexible working is, like, most women come with a big question, like, I feel like I want to do flexible working. Most of the time it's reduced, kind of the women start to think, oh, probably it's reduced hours, but I don't really know. And I know that my roommate is doing this kind of in the office, and another colleague is doing this. Probably I should do the same. This is their life. So you have very individual personal circumstances. And you need to find what really works for you personally and for your family, for your childcare situation. So the first step is clarify what are your non-negotiables. And when I say non-negotiables, is the things that are, like, either you can't change. For example, that's the only nursery, and you got a place in this one nursery and they have strict work hours, opening hours. That's it. And like paying them like for overtime will be just uneconomical. That can be your non-negotiable. My negotiable when I was going back on Flex was that I trained as a coach already at the time, and I wanted to coach clients at least 1 day a week. So my non-negotiable was to have my Friday free so that I can commit to people to hold coaching sessions, things like this. And they will be your, well, they will kind of create the boundaries that you say, this is a definite no for me. I just kind of this is my life, this is my childcare, this is what these are my must-haves, and that makes it easy for you to be flexible in negotiation, because you know where you can give, and it when you're so when you truly understand kind of your situation, it becomes apparent to the other side, to your manager, that this is kind of a fair, true negotiation, and gives you more creativity, I suppose, in finding what can work and what other options you can have. So create several scenarios for your flex work and review it with an employer's hat on before you start your negotiation. I don't know how you feel in your environment. I hear kind of all different things, from women feeling really kind of free to negotiate, to women feeling, well, I'm kind of constrained by the work, like consultancy, legal consultancy, for example. Many women feel like, oh, I don't know how it's going to work. So this is business. See it with an employer's hat on. What are the business interests? Probably it's about kind of clients' interest and how to deliver the work, and how does your line of work function? How can you not become a bottleneck? So with this kind of employer's hat on, then start informally with your line manager, not in writing. Just have a chat and check the water temperature 4 months before you return to work. 4 months is, I recommend 4 months because by law, the employer has 3 months to consider the flexible working application. I started it too late, so I had to cut my maternity leave a bit short to start using my holiday to have my Fridays off. 4 months will give you kind of a buffer to negotiate it calmly. Then have a trial period, definitely. And during this trial period, have, if not weekly is good, but at least twice a month, every fortnight, have a discussion, like a feedback with your line manager, and like water cooling conversations with your team as to just how it works. Don't expect flexible working to work like from day one. You're adjusting, your team is adjusting, it is a negotiation. And if you just keep checking what's going on, you can, through incremental adjustments within this trial period, you can get to this kind of golden middle, the flexible working that works. And then once you discuss it with your line manager and you agreed on it, get it done in writing. Even if it is a small thing as changing your working day by 15 minutes, definitely have it in writing. And prepare a nice bucket for that celebratory champagne. That's what the picture is here for. There are common fears about flexible working, like that if you go on reduced hours, you will be paid kind of the same, and you will be paid less, but will do the same volume of work, or that it can affect your career, or that your colleagues will be looking kind of at you thinking, oh, she's kind of slacking, or you're not managing to finish work and actually complete your line of work. I am a bit wordy today. I'm watching the time. I wrote a blog post about those common fears, and I will include this in the post webinar information pack. Before you return to work, so that was flexible working. Kit Harington here, or you might know him as Jon Snow, He's to remind us about our KIT days or keep in touch days. And you have 10 of those days. I'm sure you've heard of them, but people tend to kind of forget about them or feel pressurized kind of by work. You want to almost switch off work and enjoy your maternity leave. And I get that. I hear that. Um, they can be extremely useful and they are paid and you don't have to, and the closer you get to the end of your maternity leave, the more useful they can become. So first of all, there is no pressure. You can use them all 10 or you don't use them at all. There is no pressure, but see them as kind of as your choice and consider what will actually help you. And some top tips, and I was speaking to one acquaintance of mine who is in HR, and she herself has just gone back to work. And so her top tip was to ask your manager about the trainings or meetings that you might want to attend before you actually restart your work while you're still on maternity leave, just to get you up to speed, to give you a bit of this like refresher of what's going on. I think that's a great advice from her. Another one is to use that to do the handover back. So someone was covering your work. When you're coming back, the person can start handing you back work or while you're still on maternity leave. Use your kid days for that. You can use kid days to discuss your flexible working. And the definition of kid days is like anything that's related to you performing your role, your function. So there is really a lot of things you can do, and or just meeting people, just catching up with people, with your team, with your line manager, and hopefully we will be able to do it face to face anytime soon. Okay, your first day back. My inbox definitely, when I was a lawyer, my inbox definitely looked something like this when I went back. And you know what? The first thing to do is you don't start reading them. The first week, the first day can feel really overwhelming. The first thing you do with all those unread emails is you archive them and you go to your team or you go to your clients and you ask two questions. One is, what did I miss? And the second one is, how can I help? These two questions, doing it like this, will make the most positive impact on how your colleagues and your clients feel about your return. You will be immediately up to speed. Because as soon, you know what happens, as soon as you start reading those emails, 1,000 of them will be already like in relation to an old project. And it's like catching up with a year of work that you missed. And you can use your kit days to have these conversations with your team and with your clients in the weeks before you return. And for this great tip, I thank Lori Mihalic-Levin. She's my partner in crime in running the maternity leave course. And she has a wealth of those practical tips about return to work. And I will talk more about this maternity leave course later. And generally in the first week, go easy on yourself. Catch up with your kind of old connections. It's fine. This is a transition and it's pandemic and it's hard on everyone. We women do have this tendency of feeling that it's their fault that they have fallen behind the wagon. Well, it is hard. Just accept that it is hard and go start low, go slow, and just don't pressurize yourself. There is it's the most inefficient way to start your return to work. What is happening next? Waking up in the office. So I don't know if some of you have to go, like the NHS. Someone who works in the NHS will probably need to go to FaceTime for face-to-face work to the office. A lot of us continue to work from home. And this is what happens. You're waking up in the office, and generally, I could see how the anxiety levels, me included, were just going up during this pandemic, because there is no difference. Before we had the commute um, to prepare mentally to do something, to also not not to see anything that like the dishes left unwashed after breakfast or laundry. You just disconnect, you come to your office place, and you are surrounded by adults all kind of aiming at the same project, and kind of it's easy to work in that environment. Nowadays we we work and we see this pile of laundry, and we're just neither here nor there. So, and this is exactly this. The advice is you create boundaries. You create boundaries where for space, whether it's like time boundaries, space boundaries. This is my workplace, and I just concentrate on my work, and I'm working these core hours, for example. But as soon as the work is done, computer is off. If it's a laptop, it's in the drawer somewhere. I don't know what your boundaries are. Create the boundaries to have this kind of hygiene, life hygiene, sleep hygiene. We all tend to now kind of check our emails the first thing we wake up, or the last thing before we go to bed, and that keeps us always kind of in the office space. And it takes time. It takes time. It is a habit. It is a habit, and we are what we practice, and we practice every day. So just start noticing what you practice, and definitely create contingency plan, because so you're back. You figured out those through 30,000 emails. You ask some powerful questions of like, how can I help? You're back on track. Your work calendar is nicely planned out. And you know what happens next? This happens. Your child gets sick, and the nursery calls you. There are like, I don't know, COVID suspicions, whatnot. There is always something. Particularly with small children. So just be prepared. It's fine. It's normal. It's common. It happens with everyone. Your perfectly planned out, flexible working might feel like it's all collapsing. Prepare, have emergency childcare. Discuss in advance with your partner. If you're in a couple, discuss how you can prepare for those days when there is when a child is at home sick, and you have the most important meeting of the week. And the last tip is, we tend to question ourselves when we return back from maternity leave of, like, am I a liability? I forgot how to be professionally. And it is kind of continuously questioning your confidence. And there are many things going on. It's not just professional skills, but it's this childcare and the logistics and the pandemic and working from home. And it's just all feels like this overwhelming, just like more here. And I assure you, motherhood taught you some impressive skills that little professionals trainings can teach you. And in fact, you are like this. You're rocking it, ladies. You are absolutely rocking it. I think that's what we kind of don't hear, especially in the professional world. We kind of think that we were in a team, we were working in the office, we were doing something like, I don't know, big projects, ding, project done. So it was like dopamine flowing, and there was this usefulness, and there was this continuous confirmation that we're doing the right thing. And when we become mothers, the pace is completely different. We are different, and our voices might change, and all this kind of things. And we're not often we're not prepared to motherhood, and it's kind of considered as a kind of slow pace thing of raising child and just getting them to the childcare. And I want to offer you a different mindset. Motherhood is a unique platform for developing and polishing out your soft skills. You become an excellent project manager, multitasker, you become an extraordinary negotiator. You scan the room for this emotional temperature. And as I said, we, all human beings, we decide by emotional side of our brain first. So if you go into like a business negotiation course, they will start teaching you this kind of tapping into the emotional situation of a negotiation. So you have these things, and motherhood taught you something that no other training could have given you. And remembering those kind of technical skills will come easy, a couple of weeks, and you'll be back. So actually, you become a better employee than you were before your maternity leave. Mothers make amazing employees, but it can feel overwhelming, and I know this from experience. So trust in yourselves, believe in yourselves, ladies. What I want to finish with is to tell you about two things that can help you going forward. So you are here kind of still on maternity leave. Thinking about your kind of logistical emotional return to work. So there is this mindful return course that I mentioned already. And those of you who are on my emailing list, they probably already heard about this course. So this is a 4-week online course. It's cohort based. So you will be in a group of other mothers, like kind of NCT style, with a group of other mothers who are in the same stage of return to work. During each week has a theme. So the first week is on emotions, about self-esteem and confidence, anxiety and stress. The second week is about logistics and childcare and the preparing for the surprises that our life always holds for us. The third one is about professional skills and leadership skills. The last week is about community, and you will be already in a peer kind of mentoring community and developing the resourceful community around you. So you have daily lessons, and the course, I am the course's moderator. So I will be moderating conversations, and you will have prompts for conversations. And we started the UK chapter of this course. This is a global course, but we started a UK focused chapter in January. And we have an amazing feedback from mothers of different cultural backgrounds, different experiences. We had new moms who are still on maternity leave, new moms who are already back at work, second-time moms who are preparing to go back to work, different professions, and universally extremely positive feedback. So check this out. The next session starts on Monday, the 8th of March, and I will send you in the post-course email. And to my subscribers, I'm sending for this course a special discount of £20. The normal price is 159. So you will get it at 139. And it is an amazing value for this month of very detailed preparation. I mean, many employers offer this course as a leave benefit, but we opened it up for individuals to access directly. So the information will be in the follow-up. And if you are feeling overwhelmed, like the Mo on this picture on the left, you feel like you're stuck in a rut, you're questioning whether in the right path in your career, work-life balance, and not feeling fulfilled. These are the type of questions that women come to me with for one-on-one support. Reach out to me and we will book a free call. I call it a chemistry session, and we will have a chat about how are you feeling, what it can be related to, and we will create a plan of your individual support. And now I am going to stop on this. I've been talking a lot. I will stop sharing, and I will start reading your questions. So, blah, 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 blah. Thanks, Sanya. Really so true what you say about losing confidence, but we shouldn't. We have just gained a whole host of new schools. Skills, I suppose. I absolutely agree about using kit days. I think Jane is on her first day back, on her first week back. Thank you for just sharing, Jane. I did 1 day a week for 6 weeks before I returned. You aren't expected to do full days. And also when I went back after my first, I used my holiday days to start with 3 days a week, then up to 4, then full time. Yeah, I mean skills. Yeah, that's a good plan. Yeah, you can start kind of building it up, building up also your workload. Okay, do I have any other questions? I don't see other questions yet. So yeah, start putting here, and if you have any questions, start putting in the chat. Okay, in the time we have left, 10 minutes, what, just thinking, what did we skip and what we can go back to? Okay. Easy saying, have you got, Anya there, thank you very much. Have you got any advice about negotiations with work if you are struggling to find agreement? For example, if you want to go back 3 days, but they would like you to go back more days. The best is to understand what is their need to have you for more days. And start going from there, right? For example, whether it's that they want you just on specific days, just because of how the team works or how the other people's flexible working works. So I would ask them of like, what is their reason for asking for this? And I will keep this open question. And sometimes kind of giving the question back to the person asking for this, you will help them to understand why they're actually asking for this in the first place. If that helps. I don't know, Easy, tell me if that helps. And then, so what, if you're struggling with your line manager, so because you have 2 lines of negotiation, ideally you discuss with your line manager first, and your line manager obviously will be the decision maker as to whether this works for your team. But also, I strongly advise to talk with your teammates as well, if you work in a team, and just see what their feelings are like about it. And you might understand kind of what is going on and how you can become a kind of, because you want to be back and be a useful kind of part of the team, see how you are both working less time, for example, but helping the workflow. then if that is not working, I would ask your HR for support. And again, like informally, of just saying, okay, we're stuck here. What can we do from this place? Some people see HR as kind of an admin role, or they don't trust HR necessarily, thinking that the HR has the same employer hat on. But the HR have a legal obligation to, well, first of all, keep it confidential and help the employees have this kind of safe and nourishing environment. So if you ask HR to keep it confidential and just have this brainstorming session, they might help you get unstuck. Easy says, yes, thank you, it's great. Great, I'm glad. Melinda, hi, Anya, do you have any advice about starting a new role? I will be returning to a new role, new team, new manager, and all working from home. I don't know the real world work requirements to be able to understand what is a reasonable flexi request. Oh, okay, so you're starting a new position. So so you're starting a completely new position, and you want to ask for a flexible request. The first thing that comes to mind is that when you're starting something new, it might be daunting because you have no idea how it's going to work. On the other hand, women report feeling quite liberated because there are no expectations. And actually, this is like a clean blank page to start writing it anew. So this is kind of a positive mindset for you, that also they did not kind of miss you as such. They don't have any expectations of how you're coming back, so that makes it easier in a way. And then use your, I can't remember how far are you from going from starting this position, but I would start it as just a chat and an informal chat with your back in May. Back in May were March, April, so 2 months. So if you haven't started your negotiations, you really need about flexible working. So schedule a call with your line manager separately, and then meet your team. I would suggest one-on-one for short chats of just to meet people and have a feel for what the team is like, and use your kid days for that. And with your line manager, just explore kind of just explore. I suppose I'm slightly, I just don't know the details. If this is your new role and they took you on a full-time position and now you are asking for flexible working, just not sure whether they will be surprised that they took you on a full-time role and before starting you ask for a flexible position. So yeah, they might be surprised about that. Or if you already had the flexi set up in mind when you negotiated. The same company, the role was advertised as full-time. So it's the same so you're moving within the company and they took you for this full role and full-time. Yeah, so if they took you for a full-time role, well, it's start with your line manager, and you can ask for a confidential advice from your HR as to what is the best way to approach it in your situation. If you have any employment rights questions, there is a really good resource that is called ACAS, ACAS. I can't remember what the abbreviation is, but they run a free helpline advising you on your employment rights. And another one is, and on asking specifically about flexible working. And another great resource is called Pregnant Then Screwed. I mean, the name comes from the founder's personal experience, as you can guess, but they also run a helpline, and they used to have a specific helpline for flexible working, and they will have they have a specific interest in terms of kind of unfair treatment and discrimination. So I think those two resources might be useful kind of resources for you just to brainstorm how to approach it. I will put, yeah, I can, yeah, I will post here. So ACAS, I will post it to everyone. One is called ACAS, and another one is called Pregnant Then Screwed. Yeah, both run helplines. That's really helpful. Okay, I'm glad. Okay, excellent. Well, we're on top of the hour. I think that's all the questions we had. If I missed anything, then you have my email. Email me back, and I will send the follow-up email with all this information and the recording and the discount code for the course. I think most of you will really benefit from the course Preparing to Return Back. Thank you so much all for your time, and I wish you all well with your return to work, and I will see some of you on the course. Bye for now.